Welcome to our journey of chocolate making from bean to bar. Chocolate begins as seeds from the cacao tree, Theobroma cacao, which means food of the gods. These trees grow in tropical regions within 20 degrees of the equator, primarily in West Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia. The process of transforming these bitter seeds into the sweet chocolate we love involves multiple steps that combine both traditional methods and modern technology. Now, let's explore how cacao is cultivated around the world. Cacao cultivation begins with the careful tending of cacao trees. These trees take between 3 to 5 years before producing their first fruit, known as pods. The cacao pods come in various vibrant colors, including yellow, orange, and red. These pods grow directly from the trunk and main branches of the tree in a growth pattern called cauliflory. Inside each colorful pod, you'll find 20 to 50 beans. These beans are surrounded by a sweet white pulp called mucilage. Cacao trees require very specific growing conditions to thrive. They need temperatures between 65 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, high humidity, and abundant rainfall throughout the year. Interestingly, cacao trees actually need protection from direct sunlight, which is why they are naturally understory trees growing beneath the canopy of taller trees. Sustainable farming practices are crucial for both producing high-quality cacao and protecting the environment. These include shade-grown cultivation using diverse canopy trees. Farmers also minimize chemical fertilizers and pesticides, implement water conservation techniques, and support biodiversity within their cacao groves. This careful cultivation process is the essential first step in creating the chocolate we enjoy. Harvesting cacao is a careful manual process that requires skill and precision. Farmers use machetes or special knives to cut the pods from the tree trunk and branches. Great care must be taken to protect the cushion on the tree where the pod attaches. This is where future pods will grow, so damaging it could reduce future harvests. Cacao harvest occurs year-round in many regions, though most areas experience two peak seasons. These typically occur around April-May and October-November, though this varies by region. Experienced farmers identify perfectly ripe pods by their color, which changes as the pod ripens. They also tap the pods. A hollow sound indicates ripeness. Once harvested, the pods are gathered in baskets or piles. They're then transported to a processing area where they'll be opened to extract the beans with their surrounding pulp in preparation for the fermentation process. After fermentation, the cocoa beans must be dried to reduce their moisture content. In traditional methods, beans are spread out in the sun on large wooden platforms for 5 to 14 days, depending on weather conditions. Workers rake the beans regularly to ensure even drying and prevent mold growth. In some regions where the climate doesn't permit effective sun drying, mechanical dryers are used to control temperature and humidity conditions. The drying process reduces moisture content from about 60% to between 7 and 8%. This prevention of mold growth is crucial for safe transportation and storage. Properly dried beans can be tested for quality. They make a characteristic cracking sound when squeezed between fingers. The drying process is a critical quality control step in chocolate production, ensuring beans are stable for the next stages. Sorting cacao beans is a critical quality control step after the drying process. Beans are meticulously sorted to remove defective beans, foreign materials, and ensure consistent quality. Sorting may be done by hand with trained workers carefully inspecting each bean, or using mechanical sorters that separate beans by size and density. After sorting, the quality beans are packed into breathable jute sacks, typically containing 60 to 70 kilograms of beans. The filled sacks are then transported to chocolate manufacturers worldwide via sea freight containers, often traveling thousands of miles. During this journey, quality control checks ensure the beans maintain their flavor profiles and aren't exposed to contaminants or excessive humidity. Did you know that a single chocolate bar requires approximately 40 cacao beans? That's why careful sorting and transportation is essential to ensure only the highest quality beans make it to the chocolate maker. With the beans now sorted and safely transported, they're ready for the next step, roasting. At the chocolate factory, beans undergo a crucial transformation through the roasting process. The beans are roasted at temperatures between 210 and 290 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 35 minutes. During roasting, Maillard reactions occur, similar to what happens when baking bread. These Maillard reactions involve sugars and amino acids combining to create hundreds of different flavor compounds. Roasting serves four crucial purposes in chocolate making. First, it develops the rich, complex chocolate flavor. Second, it loosens the shells from the nibs, which are the meat of the bean. Third, it sterilizes the beans, ensuring food safety. And fourth, it reduces acidity and moisture content, preparing the beans for further processing. Different roasting profiles are used depending on the bean origin and desired flavor characteristics. Light roasts at lower temperatures preserve the original flavors of the beans, highlighting their unique characteristics. Medium roasts create a balanced flavor profile that most people associate with chocolate. Dark roasts develop intense, robust flavors that work well in certain chocolate products. Many craft chocolate makers use drum roasters similar to those used for coffee roasting. These roasters allow precise temperature control and even heat distribution, which is essential for developing consistent, high-quality chocolate flavors. After roasting, the beans are ready for the next crucial step in the chocolate making process, cracking and winnowing. After the roasting process, the cacao beans move to the next crucial stage, cracking and winnowing. The roasted beans are first cracked into smaller pieces. These cracked pieces then enter the winnowing machine, where air currents separate the outer shells from the nibs. The nibs are the essential ingredient for chocolate production. They contain about 50 to 55% cocoa butter, along with other components needed for chocolate. The discarded shells aren't wasted. They're often repurposed as mulch, used to make cocoa tea, or utilized in various agricultural applications. With the nibs separated and ready, they now contain all the essential components needed for the next stage of chocolate production, grinding and conching. The first step after winnowing is grinding the cacao nibs into a thick paste known as chocolate liquor. Despite its name, chocolate liquor contains no alcohol. It's simply the pure ground form of the cacao bean, containing both cocoa solids and cocoa butter. Next comes the conching process, where the chocolate liquor is heated and continuously mixed in specialized machines. Conching can take anywhere from a few hours to several days, depending on the desired quality and flavor profile of the final chocolate. During conching, several ingredients are added to create the final chocolate product. These include sugar, milk powder for milk chocolate, vanilla for flavoring, and extra cocoa butter to adjust the consistency. The conching process has several crucial effects on the chocolate. First, it smooths the chocolate particles to less than 20 microns, which is smaller than what the human tongue can detect as gritty. Second, the heat and aeration remove unwanted volatile compounds that could create off flavors. Third, conching develops the final flavor profile through complex chemical reactions. And finally, it creates the silky smooth texture that quality chocolate is known for. The grinding and conching processes transform bitter cacao nibs into smooth, flavorful chocolate that's ready for the final steps of tempering and molding. The final critical steps in chocolate making are tempering and molding, which give chocolate its distinctive qualities. Tempering is a precise process of heating, cooling, and reheating chocolate to control crystallization. The chocolate is first melted to around 45 degrees Celsius. Next, it's cooled to about 28 degrees Celsius, which allows specific cocoa butter crystals to form. Then it's carefully reheated to around 32 degrees Celsius, which melts unstable crystals while preserving the stable ones. Finally, the chocolate is kept at its working temperature while being used for molding. Proper tempering ensures that the cocoa butter forms type 5 crystals, which are the most stable form. These crystals give chocolate its desirable qualities. Type 5 crystals create a chocolate that has a glossy appearance, satisfying snap when broken, and melts precisely at body temperature for a smooth mouthfeel. After tempering, the chocolate is carefully poured into molds that create the desired shape, whether it's a bar, bonbon, or other confection. The filled molds are then sent through refrigerated cooling tunnels that maintain precise temperature conditions for optimal crystallization. The final chocolate product has key qualities that indicate proper tempering and molding. A well-tempered chocolate has a shiny appearance with a satisfying snap when broken. It melts smoothly at body temperature, releasing its flavors gradually in the mouth. After cooling, the finished chocolates are packaged and prepared for distribution, ready to delight consumers worldwide. From the tropical farm to your chocolate bar, the entire process typically takes several months and involves the expertise of farmers, fermenters, roasters, and chocolatiers across multiple continents. The result is one of the world's most beloved treats, enjoyed by millions around the globe.